and welcome to the Kitchen Table Modellers Workshop. Just a quick update for the end of May 2020. Just what I've been doing, what I've got plans for, what's in the pipeline at the moment, and just a general update of what my modeller's been doing recently. So, what have I been doing? Well, I've been working on the 1/32 Revell He111. You'd have seen in my last video, I got all the interior base painting done and we're ready to start the detail painting. I haven't got around to that yet because I wanted to finish a few builds off to get them out of the way before I got onto this. But I have been doing a little research to find out the colour painting for likes of the radio sets, ammunition canisters, and then obviously we've got all the colour photo-etched, Edard colour photo-etched to put in the cockpit and paint up things like the soft blanket here, the canvas on the canvas on the seat, and there's a canvas cushion and all the harnesses to go in. So there's quite a lot of detail work to do on this, which I was leaving until I cleared my feet of some builds that I've had ongoing for a while. So what else have I done? Right, we'll start at the front here. I've just about finished Hobby Boss's TA152. This is a representation of a pre-production aircraft that never really got into service right at the end of the war, but Hobby Boss modelled anyway, and it's a really nice little kit. So that's just about done. A little bit of weathering to finish that off. I have finished my Academy P.Kpfw Tomahawk 2B, finished off in desert colours for North Africa. I think your squadron leader Neville Duke possibly. So that's your sand and earth, and then your Azores blue underneath. So that's finished off. We'll have a look at these closely in a minute. I have finished building my Tamiya Sd.Kfz 7.1 with the quad 20mm anti-aircraft on the back, and then I've also finished a little quick build of Tamiya Sd.Kfz 2.2 armoured car. So that's what I've been building. Let's get the camera down on the table and we can have a little closer look at some of these kits, and I can just give you a quick what my thoughts are, pluses, minuses and whatnot. So let's get the camera on the table. Right, so first off, you'll see this on my last video, we have gotten all the interior colours done on this now. I've just put this together, it's just dry fitted together, it's just to protect the bombing more as anything else. You can see all the details in there. This is all what we need to paint next, and weather up a bit more of the floor. You're not actually going to see much of this when it's all together, but you probably see it through the windows. They're big enough, and if you can get a good colour in here, it will make it stand out when you're looking through. So yeah, we got that done in the last video, so that's waiting further work. We got the wheel wells done, all painted up. The detail is beautiful. I mean, Edard photo etch is fantastic. It is really good stuff. Really has livened up this project no end, so I'm really chuffed the way that's come out. So we got them done, and we got the base colour paint on the cockpit, and this is the bit that's really going to fire up the model, because you're going to see this has got glass everywhere on the nose. So yeah, we're going to make a big effort to get this painted and detailed really nice. So this project's been waiting in the wings for a little while now. It's such a big project that I really need to be in the right frame of mind to tackle it, because I want it done right. I don't want to mess it up. But I also had a few other models on the go. So we'll start with the aircraft, and we'll start with Academy's 1/48 scale British Tomahawk, well, it's American P40 Tomahawk 2B, the British called it, in North African colours. It's all airbrushed. It's actually airbrushed on the top using extra acrylics. Ooh, shiver. Yeah, not a paint I really like using, but the colours are really good. And they thin really well with Tamiya. If you use Tamiya X20A, the little drop of Tamiya retarder in it, they thin it well and they lay down well, and it gives you a good finish. So even though they're not the best of paints, they do the job, and if you take your time, it's okay. Take your time putting the kit together, get rid of all the seams, you have no problem. The fit was fantastic. The detail in the cockpit's lacking, hence the canopy's closed. And the underneath, the exhaust blue looks fantastic, and a little bit of weathering, you know, gun smoke out the ejection ports, and dirt and grime and oil stains coming out the back of the wheel wells, because, well, why not? They probably were grimy underneath, and a little bit of oil staining at the back here. And that is done with oils. Now, you can't, it's getting whitewashed out a bit, but there is a bit of mottling underneath. That was just done the way I usually paint models. And then you can see, get the reflection off it, it's actually quite a matte finish, but the lights are so bright I'm using the film with, you still get a reflection, but you can see there is tonal variation here, and that was achieved with oils, just to give you a bit of a worn look. And then airbrushed the exhaust staining and a little bit of oil over it just to tame it down. Kit decals, the cartograph decals, they go down really, really well. Settle into the panel lines, the colour's good, registration's good. The shark's mouth went down beautifully. And a fantastic build, a quickish build, but a real good mojo builder. If you're getting bogged down with bigger builds, build a small build. Just, you know, clear your mind and go for it. Next airplane kit is one I built, and that's Hobby Boss's. I think it's the TA152. It's a late war pre-production aircraft used, well, designed predominantly as going to be an interceptor. A brilliant kit, really cheap. Goes together really well. It's lacking, it's got engine detail, the back of the engine detail in there, but I'm sure it's lacking detail for the wheel wells. And I did hear that on the ground these two wheel well covers actually were closed, so you probably wouldn't actually see anything in there. I'm not sure, but I modelled them down, it doesn't matter. But the panel lining's beautiful and fine and recessed, takes a wash fantastically. The canopy fits really well, and it's clear. The detail in the cockpit, it's not too bad. You get harnesses that paint up really well. You can see the harnesses through the canopy. And you know, for the cost of the kit, it's brilliant. It's finished in sort of greeny, purpley brown camouflage, late war camouflage scheme, and I've used a bit of oils to add a bit of colour tonal variations. These things aren't going to be completely manky because they were, you know, pre-production experimental aircraft. So, you know, you don't need to chip them and anything like that. Although I have seen a couple of photographs where they did actually look quite chipped, so maybe I've underdone it a bit, but I'm quite happy with the level of weathering on this. And then, you know, mottling, which I love doing. Freehand, it's all done freehand. Thin paint, low air pressure, and just go for it. And the beauty is this is Gun Sanyo paints for the green and the RLM 76. It's all Gun Sanyo. And then the purple brown is actually Vallejo Model Air, which sprays beautifully anyway. Most of the mottling is actually the sort of the greeny colour, light greeny colour, and that's all freehand painted. Low air pressure, thin paint, tight to the model. You can get good tight demarcation lines. These are all freehand painted, so it's just the way I like to paint. But anyway, I'm happy enough with that. It's a nice model, and it looks good on the display shelf, and it's quite a bit bigger than the ordinary, you know, Focke-Wulf 190. Yeah, it's interesting. So the next one I finished off, which I've been working on for quite a while, was the Tamiya's 1/35 Sd.Kfz 7.1 with a 20mm quad mount on the back. Done in winter camouflage. So, you know, undercoat with grey, and then hairspray, well, seal it with varnish, Tamiya varnish, hairspray, and then it's actually Vallejo Model Air Insignia White I've used to the winter wash, and then chip it back, and then it's had just a sort of a grimy oil wash over it to get the streak in, to get that sort of patina of wornness, to highlight all the little details, and to sort of weather down that winter camouflage that looks like it's been plugging through the mud. It's actually AK Mud products on the running gear, and pigments and rust paint on the deck to look like where you've worn through the paint where the guys are standing. I replaced the plastic mesh for proper metal mesh on the sides. There's more in scale and it looks, you know, very fine detail. And the figures were all painted up. You can see the facial detail in there, you know, and a bit of the chromographic paint finish, you know, thicker at the top, fading down to get that dark shadows in. It's all done with the airbrush and then streaked off. You know, it's on hairspray and then chipped off. Drilled out the end of the barrels. And a little bit of blue, Tamiya blue on the end of his glasses to look like it's reflecting sunlight. You know, I made, you know, fine milliput, made a couple of tarps, folded up to cover it when it's running, just to add a bit of interest. Brilliant model, Tamiya at its best. You know, can't say it enough, I absolutely love Tamiya kits, and I really like this kit. I've actually sold this one on eBay, quite happy with what I got for it, and would I build it again? Yeah, absolutely, in a heartbeat, not a problem. So we set that one side, and the last build I've done is the Tamiya Sd.Kfz 222 armoured reconnaissance vehicle, and this is the updated boxing from Tamiya. So it's done in overall grey. It's actually a North Africa scheme, early North Africa scheme. It's done in overall grey, dry brushed, highlighted, a bit of oil weathering on it, streaking, griming, rusting on the exhausts, and then just overall dusty grime on the running gear and underneath. Most of that's done with the airbrush, a little bit of wash in there too. Painted the figure. I'm no figure painter, I'll be honest with that. I struggle with figure painting, I try my very best, and I think I'm getting better. It's all hand painted detail that's on him. And it's a handmade aerial as well, which I was really pleased with because it's got a lovely tapered shape to it. The barrel of the gun is turned aluminium, that's the update on the kit, and the grills on the top of the turret are photo-etched, and that was the other update for the kit. The rest of it is out of the box, and a beautiful build. I mean, really, Tamiya is, if you want to get into armour, and you're interested in World War II armour, especially German armour, Tamiya is where to go. It goes together so well. I had no problems with this whatsoever, and the detail's really good for what you get and for what you pay. The last thing you do is the rope. Now, the rope you actually get plastic eyes in the box for the tow rope. And what I did with the tow rope, to remove the furry hair that's on it, I really, really carefully ran it through a flame. Just singed off the fine fur that comes off the tow rope. And then the eyes, I actually spliced them in myself because I could splice rope. And I just thought, well, rope's rope, it's the same as splicing a big rope, just got the magnifiers and tweezers out, and I spliced the end in myself as if it would have been done in real time. I think it makes it look a bit more realistic. And then to get that sort of hemp rope colour on it, I've just stained it in tea, you know, boiled up a cup of tea, chucked the string in there, let it sit for an hour and come out, and there you go, you've got hemp coloured rope. I've had comments saying it's not dirty enough for the rest of the vehicle. It is what it is, you know, it might have just been chucked on there after they pulled it out of the ditch or something, who knows, you know, it doesn't matter. The thing is, it's a point of interest, it's something to look at, but yeah, it is hand spliced, it's the kit rope, and yeah, brilliant little vehicle. So that's the builds I've been doing. All in all, would I recommend them all? Well, yes I would. They're all great kits. Certainly this one was very involved in figure painting, you had all the detail work, it's a big model, it took its time, but I really enjoyed it. This kit went together really quickly, a good level of detail, good opportunity for a little bit of weathering, really enjoyed it. And the two aircraft, they both fell together and they gave you a good opportunity for weathering, you know, and to build it to whichever way you want. All really, really good builds. So they're all out of the way, which is fantastic. It frees me up to get on with the He111. So that's what I'm planning to do over the next coming weeks, is to get the detail painting inside and actually get the aircraft stuck together. So let's just pan up off the table, we'll get back onto me, we'll have a bit of conflab and then see where we go from there. Thanks guys. So there we are, 4 builds that I've finished off recently, try and clear the way to get going on the He 111, which is the big build. So this is what I'm hopefully going to be getting going on filming in the next couple of weeks. I know there's been a few people waiting to see this and see how I get on with it, certainly on my Instagram page. I've had a bit of interest in it. So yeah, over the next couple of weeks I'm hoping to get this detail painting done. We'll get it put together and really push on with this and try and get ahead with it. It's a big build. You really do need to be in the zone, as I say, to build it. You don't want to touch it if you're otherwise distracted. You really have to try and focus on this, and some of these models were an escape from the stress of building a big model, and for the fact it's for someone else. They're in no rush to get it, but they want it right, so I want to do it right. So I'm happy to get going on this again. So that's the next video build that's been coming up. What I've also got coming up for you guys is a couple of reviews. So got one for Ryefield Model's new Pz.Kpfw.IV Ausf.J late model. So I've got that review done. It's actually going to be a future build as well once the Heinkel's out of the way. So that review's done. And another review I've done, which funnily enough is going with the Ryefield Models Panzer IV, is Tamiya's amazing FAMO and Sd.Kfz tank transporter. Amazing. I really am looking forward to getting that done. So the Panzer IV is going on the tank transporter with the FAMO. It's going to be a massive build. Something I'm planning to try and do at the end of the year. Definitely once the Heinkel is out of the way. There might be a couple other small builds in between that I've got planned, just to kind of break the stress of building such a big model like the Heinkel. But more of those later. But this is what I've been doing up to date, you know, up to the end of May, and through lockdown. Modelling, it's really helped through lockdown. It does help deal with the stress of everything that's going on. And forget about all the other problems. So there we are. That's where I'm at the moment. That's what I've got coming up. That's the videos that are coming up shortly. The two reviews I've shown you, they're going to be coming up after this. I've also recorded, before this, I recorded a quick tour of my setup. Everyone else is doing it, and I had it in the bag, so I will put that out as well. It's a bit rough and ready, and yeah, it is what it is. So, you know, I'll put it up, you guys can see what it is. So, if you've got any comments, want to ask any questions about the builds, drop a line underneath. I always read and answer all the questions and comments that are under my videos. If you like what you see and you'd like to subscribe, I'd be very grateful. I'm trying to build a channel. If people are interested in what I'm doing, I'll keep doing it. If not, whatever. I enjoy doing it. I'll be putting them up. But if you'd like to subscribe, I'd be very grateful. And if you want to like the video, and if you subscribe, hit the bell notification to receive notifications when my next videos goes up. I'll be very grateful for that. But in the meantime, guys, stay safe, happy modelling, and we'll see you later.